Yeah, and then, I mean, both mid and top are showing from the side of KIWOOM DRX, so it's kind of up to you what you want to show now and what you want to keep at bay. They're looking at the Jace, which I think actually one of the games we've had over the season was Jace into Rumble. Obviously have that range advantage. If Rumble gets on top of you and that level 6 spike of the Equalizer can be turning points, but you can mostly keep him at bay. This could in theory be a flex, but extremely likely just to be top Jace.
Yep.
And keeping Chovy's pick till last. We'll see what he brings out. For the side of KIWOOM DRX in the bot lane.
I think ideally you want lots of range. Like if they played a Caitlyn Lux or something, it'd be really strong. This is a little bit of a different take.
I was thinking something like a Jhin to follow up on the engage from the Rumble and the Wukong would make sense. There's also no tank on the side of Gen.G yet. But instead they opt for that Lucian Melio. Looking to try and have pressure in the 2v2. Obviously the Super Mega Fire Kick pretty good against Vi as well. Now Chovy deliberating what he's going to take in terms of options. The Aurelion Soul into a short range composition does have decent value in keeping everyone in place, but it looks like that's not going to be it. It's just going to be the Akali coming out. Not something that has a ton of pressure into the Ryze early. You are just going to get shoved in. The Ryze is going to have a bit of freedom to move. So KIWOOM DRX definitely with an angle to accelerate
them out from the very beginning in game number 1. Let's see whether the turnaround can happen here in game 2. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift 4. Game number 2. KIWOOM DRX down 0-1. And the first game was not very close. Gen.G certainly in very good standing, as Chovy would like to electrocute Yukal here. As he doesn't quite get in range for the auto, so it's just a couple of 5-point strikes. Still, Ardent Blaze almost avoided by both of the Gen.G bottom laners, but Duro will take a little bit of damage here.
You know, bot lane trading in this matchup is a little bit delicate, because Yunara is the epitome of that sustained damage, AD carry, and if you get wave access, you stack up the passive. Lucian just doesn't have nearly as much sustained auto-attack damage. That's a very early heal. Didn't actually mitigate any damage, so already full HP, so...
That was a weird heal. He's trying to avoid Lazyfield getting into a position to do some damage here, so... Certainly a bit of an advantage here for KIWOOM DRX in the lane. See whether they can use that to fight for level 2, as they are very, very close on both sides. Only a few of these minions needing to go down. There is that level 2 picked up. One more minion here for KIWOOM DRX, and they do manage to get it. There's the dash forward as Lazyfield gets a warm hug, and he thinks that that's going to empower him to take down Ruler. He gets into the brush to try and outplay it, as down to about 100 here, as Ruler has to flash. And now, Duro is playing pretty aggressively with the minions in tow, and actually it's kind of working out here as Andal takes a lot of damage, but with Ruler no summoner spells and having to go home, this is a huge start for KIWOOM DRX.
A famous Lucian level 2 power spike comes in.
Exactly.
But also, I think Duro burning the heal early was a big factor in that trade going so well for KIWOOM DRX. You don't have the extra movement speed that could have allowed Ruler to disengage earlier, and certainly the extra HP would have gone a long way as well. So it just kind of shows how an early summoner burn can have such an impact on the 2v2, a misuse of that spell coming in pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely working out here as Chovy going down pretty low here in lane, as we'd expect on a pre-6 Akali. As Yukal, not quite able... Oh, he really wants to press that button. He should be able to do so. Never mind. Going to forego that one minion.
It's just a caster minion, but...
Just a caster minion. Wow. Who do you think you're talking to?
A caster.
Yeah, that's true. See? I do... Oh, is he going back in on this one? He is. In goes Chovy. And almost out he goes via the Death Chamber, as Yukal able to offer a lot of damage back, as Willa, Warrior Trickster, tries to get him in there, but Chovy's already out. Still has to flash. And so will be down that summoner spell, as Canyon trying to hold onto the wave so that Chovy can turtle port his way back in.
Oh, no ward for Willa. If he had a sixth sense of where Chovy was, it'd be very funny if he just warded over the wall and bonked him to finish him off. But Chovy will survive, but isn't opting to recall yet.
Yeah, wanted a better timer, as it turns out. So
wants to pick up those minions. Does have the TP, of course, which we don't have from Yukal.
And in goes Willa and kills him.
Yeah, that...
I don't know what we were expecting to happen there, But
You know the point where I was like, okay, is he just dead? When he shrouded
Yeah.
the energy to clear the minions, I was like, oh.
yes.
Certainly that will happen. Didn't need to find him over the wall, apparently. Chovy stuck around to give him a chance, and that early Wukong burst. I mean, if you're getting an early kill on a Wukong pre-6, you're feeling great.
Yeah, I think KIWOOM DRX are definitely feeling great as they're looking to try and push that even further forward. I don't think Ruler had very many buttons left to press, and down he will go. 2-0 here, doubling the amount of kills that KIWOOM DRX have picked up all series long.
I think really what shows how dead Ruler was is that the Mega Fire Kick didn't even connect, and Andal, Lazyfield, and Willer all had flashes and didn't use any of them to get that kill.
Yeah,
like we saw in the previous game, they were burning like multiple flashes to get the dive off. Here, they didn't need anything.
And this was just a little bit of greed from Chovy.
At least he got the cannon.
He did. Yep, bit of ooh.
공부가 근데 오랩이 안 됐네 나.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
We might get a translation of that.
Bot lane, Ruler tries. I think the circle angle honestly good to kind of keep Andal under the tower for longer, but he still had flash. There's no way he's ever dying there. At best, you burn the summoner, and he didn't even need to use that. So, solid advantage so far for KIWOOM DRX in this game.
And Chovy said, oops, didn't get level 5 yet, is what he was saying there. So thought that he was going to be able to hit the level up so that then he would be out of combo range and then survive. Didn't actually hit that mark. Actually kind of cute that that was how far he thought about it. Makes the mistake feel a little bit better, you could say. Although still definitely an unforced error.
Yeah, I think without flash though as well. I mean, Willer could just like, if he didn't kill him with that initial burst, just flash auto after, potentially.
Yeah.
So maybe we're still at risk. Oh, bit of a steal coming in.
Yeah, Yukao also able to find Chovy here, who slows him down with the Rune Prison. As Rich, a defensive equalizer is what it feels like, but it may not have fully disengaged. As he silences himself, but Keen misses the Shock Blast. And therefore, Rich will live to see another day.
A lot of zoning abilities there.
Yeah, quite a few.
A couple of zoning harpoons and then the zoning shock blast.
I didn't want to mention the zoning harpoons at the beginning.
Yeah.
Certainly a few of those, though. Canyon back about his jungle. Is certainly behind, though, after Willer getting that initial kill. And Rich also looking for an angle towards Keen. Could this be a solo kill? He gets moved back, and Keen looks for the angle and does not find it. The flash in, and they solo kill each other!
Of all the ways, you know, as the fight was going on, I was like, oh, Rich has it. No, Keen has it.
And then they both had it.
They both had it. And I think that was the scenario I expected the least.
Yeah.
But it does make for some fun League of Legends.
That was a very strange scenario.
Very tense.
And now the minion wave, I believe, is slow pushing back towards Rich as well. So probably fine for the Rumble.
Yeah, Flashless Keen as well. You know, level 6 about to be hit by Willer. If he makes his way up there with that Cyclone, that is just a dead Jace.
Oh, Ruler in a little bit of trouble here. They do have their summoners back up and available again. And they have Canyon.
Oh,
The best summoner spell of all, and he is extraordinarily dead. Season Desist comes down. I don't think he'd even started yet, so maybe not named correctly. As in goes, Willer actually finds an angle here, flashes on top of Ruler and gets the second Cyclone to finish off the kill. Lazyfield has his barrier as well, as Canyon trying to get on top of him finally finds the auto, but Willer is now so fed, it is insane.
Yeah, Canyon managing to get the kill onto Lucian, but it was close to not even being a thing.
Oh, can they do it again? The back-to-back solo double kill?
I mean, Rich finds him in the brush, has a big health advantage, but just unfortunately doesn't get the overheat really at the right time.
That was the scrap shield. Because it looked like it was like Keen sort of messed it up or something, but instead it was just scrap shield beautifully done. That was also just Yukao beautifully done. Just kills the flashless Jace.
KIWOOM DRX really getting, honestly, more than I think you know, even when I said this is what they need to get, this is what I hope they can get, they're getting more than that. You know, I was hoping that Yukao could be freed up to move to side lanes. That's already a take. But the fact that we've seen this Wukong on 4 kills already, my concern was like, can you shut Canyon out the game? Because Canyon is so easy to gank on this Vi. But the fact Will is winning these skirmishes so hard and getting more and more fed, it's just massive. And here, the burst onto Duro there just gets exploded. Lazyfield doing as much as he can to survive. So close.
아 까비.
Yeah, it was actually super close as well. Getting the flash out of Canyon, though, as, yeah, Joker, a little bit sad that LazyField wasn't able to outplay it, but still a smile on his face, as you could see. As, all right, Ruler's pressed that ulti button. LazyField trying to get himself out, and no amount of warm hugs is going to save him from that one, as Ruler picks up a kill in the 2v2. Andal, yeah, just hugging in the air now. Yeah, the power of the Yunara ult on demand so huge, and the extra survivability you get from the Lulu. The all-ins are so scary from the Yunara Lulu, whereas obviously the Lucian Melia wants to be a bit more poke-heavy with how they play the trades and just getting a little bit caught up in the all-in there. Shows there's still threats on the side of Gen.G. You can see here, Ruler's getting some good damage down, but does take a lot of the culling. Duro blocked it though, but then here, gets the slow, pushes up, trying to keep LazyHeal alive, but the wild growth, just so much durability. Yeah, Rich is able to scrap shield. Cease and desist comes down, but that is a 1-for-1. And I imagine Rich is kind of okay with how that one goes. Still has a slight lead in that lane, although that will dissipate along with this crystalline overgrowth and the minion wave. So a little bit worse than a 1-for-1 would generally imply. But I think, you know, considering the setup, the fact that you are being ganked, the fact that you have no flash and it's a Vi, you're trading 1-for-1, I think, you know, job well done. And on the other side of the map, Will is going to be able to pick up the dragon here uncontested, so there's the payoff. But you see Rich looking for an aggressive TP here, but won't find Keen this time. Just going to go back. Minion wave does need Rich's attention, so he will head over there. And Keen, he might be teleporting back himself, does have about a 360 gold advantage, as it's mainly in the 22 CS that he does have in the lead. And he gets to unleash that teleport, so moving a whole lot faster back towards that top side of the map. And Keen now going to miss another Shock Blast. This time Rich is finding the harpoons, as we can see. Wants to get a few of those autos, but the hammer boot back there from Keen is able to at least buy enough space to zone away this Rumble, but Rich is pretty scary. This time, Rich got the overheat, as when they went into melee range, it just makes such a big difference, that extra empowered auto damage and the attack speed. So Rich able to win out that trade, and Keen does have to be careful. Has to flash back up again now, so can potentially evade difficult situations, but really don't want to be burning it for nothing. Certainly not. First items completed by both of our supports at exactly the same time. Some Helia in for Andal, and the Ardent Sensor is now done for Duro. So Ruler going to be a little bit frightening. Kraken Slayer already done. Obviously the Essence Reaver there as well for LazyField, so he is in pretty good standing and still has a slight gold lead. And in fact, KRX themselves with about 200 gold in the lead for now. So certainly a huge improvement to what we saw in the last game, as Canyon thinking about a little bit of an attack on this top side, but you can see he is surrounded by vision. Yeah, and Rich not going to overstep here. Does have flash, so you can't really overforce as well. If you dive super deep and flash ult him as Canyon, you should just be able to retreat to Tad. That being said, if you walk up like that... Yeah, then maybe he still does die, as he does flash on top of his equalizer. Willa comes in. Cyclone committed as the flash out from Canyon into the Vault Breaker, and Keen looks to try and turn it. Even confuses Jonas Strong as he's just dead. Teleport does bring Chovy in now, who goes into the Shroud and then just tries to exit. This is a very strange game, as another fight towards his bottom side of the map as well. Ulti now running from Ruler finds no joy at all. And Gen.G fall even further behind. Yeah, Rich ends up playing the bait for this super fed Wukong to come in and clean up the fight. Doesn't manage to catch Canyon, but does force him to flash away, but Keen goes down as Jay's feeling very squishy right now, 1 and 3 so far. And I think at this point was feeling like, hey, I can step up, I have the Wukong coming, does have to flash that initial burst, but then, well, it's just such a threat. Forces Canyon to flash out so he doesn't get ulted again and have the dash interrupted, and then Jace just gets deleted. And like now is when Chovy teleports in. That was like after the overcommit from Keen. Then Chovy's like, now is my time. And so it doesn't quite work. Still, Gen.G within touching distance, you could say. Slurkle is avoided there by LazyField. And Ruler is going to complete his quest and then just continue to farm things up. Obviously, the Gen.G composition still scales pretty nicely towards the later stages. They can pick targets very effectively. They've got the Wild Growth combo alongside the Vi. But with Willa this fed, I'm still kind of worried about how this game is going to look in 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah, Fed Wukong can kind of just be a monster and really hard to deal with. Like the dive threat that it has onto Gen.G with the Rumble backing it up is massive. And there's just a lot of easy targets, I feel like, for the Wukong.
know, there is CC that can come out in return, but you can play around it with your Warrior Trickster, and you just get a big ult in, and your team's there to connect on top of it. Fight should be pretty straightforward.
Let's see how KIWOOM DRX are going to be able to navigate it. That is going to be the big deal, as Willa is spotted, and that is going to cause Canyon to run away as fast as he can.
I think
level advantage.
Good decision.
Yeah, I would agree. Although he does, I mean, there's somewhat item parity, you could say, between these two. But obviously, Trinity Force is worth a little bit more. Equalizer goes down as Keen's going to have to walk that red carpet, and in goes Willa, just boops him with a Q. Down he will go. Now Ruler has Lazyfield in an awkward spot, but he gets a hug, and that is an ulti, everything thrown at him, and Lazyfield flashes in, picks it up with the Light Slinger, and down will go Ruler. In the meantime, we've got another fight as Willa is a lot of money for Gen.G if they're able to pick it up, but it's so hard to. Perfect execution does not quite work.
Oh,
Chovy flashes and doesn't get the kill. Willa finds even more as he's 9 out of 13 and hasn't died.
And just like that, almost every member of Gen.G going down across the map. And KIWOOM DRX, their lead explodes. 3,700 ahead now. A massive advantage. And the fact that Chovy wasn't able to translate, wasn't able to get that counter kill is such a big deal. Willa looked for this here and was thinking, and in a 1v1 scenario, he would have won this. You can absolutely see he has the damage here. But Lazyfield kites to his support, gets the sustain, and then comes in. The trade of barriers comes through.
Damn.
Lazyfield able to finish it off. And then this play, they find Willa and like, hey, big bounty. Let's just take him out. But he buys so much time here. Doesn't die to the R2 from the Akali, and that root from Yukal doing so much work.
That was huge. And now, Gen.G 4,000 gold behind. KIWOOM DRX are looking for Double Dragon here as well. We'll have to see what the soul is going to be. And Gen.G, they might be able to get a consolation Shelly as Canyon picks that one up. I don't know whether he's getting the eye though, as he immediately had to exit. Let's see. He is going to be able to get in there, pick up the eye, and probably look to get out. Vault Breaker cooldown's pretty low, so he'll be all right.
The thing with this Herald, though, is obviously Herald in and of itself can be valuable for getting turrets, but with a Dragon having just been taken, no easy chance to use it as a combat Herald, which you often see be very effective if you throw it down with a Dragon fight and make use of it there. Could be a way you come back from this big deficit that Gen.G has.
Yep.
But don't really have a chance to do that unless KIWOOM DRX opt into it.
They were also looking to overload the top lane as well. And as you can see, Rich just teleports out. He's just going to join the rest of his team in taking out this outer turret. They will successfully be able to do that. 3 grubs over to KIWOOM DRX as well. So using them to lock this one down. And it's an Infernal Soul this game as well. And with a Rumble, Rise, Lucian, and Wukong, oh goodness, that's it's going to be a lot of damage that they can represent if they continue to stack up these Drakes. Gen.G, after an absolute slaughter in game number 1, are having a very difficult time here in this second game.
Yeah, no kidding. And this sort of composition, you only have Canyon to really lead the charge when it comes to engages, but there's so many fed threats on the side of KIWOOM DRX. Like, who do you ult? Realistically, the logical target is probably going to be Lazyfield. But there's still this Rise, Rumble, Wukong who are just going to be running disruption in your backline as you go for this. Like, can Ruler and Duro survive against the top side of KIWOOM DRX, even if Gen.G managed to kill Lazyfield, which isn't a sheer thing?
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about it, because I just feel like there's also so much AoE to just throw into the mix, right? And Gen.G don't have all that much of an ability to keep their distance outside of Keen throwing as many shock blasts as he can. It's going to be a tough time as Canyon, looking for an opportunistic angle, just gets on over and puts down Shelly. That is going to be what they're looking for here. Warm Hug is going to try and at least escort the Vi out of here, and the charge will come on through. Grab a couple of extra plates. Chovy down here on this bottom side, wanting to get some vision around this very empty Dragon Pit. It's not going to be occupied for another 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, they get a decent amount of damage onto mid tower, but oh, kind of missed that, unfortunately.
All right, big turnaround.
They get a bit of damage on the tower, but the tower's still up, you know, and they haven't managed to kill it. Still got enough health. It's not like it's 1 HP or something. So the end result is the Herald helping, but not drastically changing the state of the game. It's still a sizable lead for KIWOOM DRX. Dragon in 2 minutes 15 is where Gen.G really need to think about how they're going to approach this one and find an angle in.
Right now, Yukal has taken up the mantle of top lane defense. He has a 1.2k gold advantage as well. This Rise is really coming along. Does have those first 2 items complete, needs to actualize. That is going to be coming up relatively soon, and all that stacking is about to reach that full point. Obviously, 5 minutes away from the Rod of Ages.
Yeah, this used to be like the strong core for Rise. It still is. Having these pair of items together is definitely a nice boon for the Rise, but the 3 item has just become the point you play toward, and Yukal will be level 16 by that point. With the extra level from the Rod of Ages will come through, so it does put a bit of a ticking time bomb into this game. Obviously, there's strong scaling elements in the bot lane from Gen.G, but if this Rise becomes monster-fed, it's going to be so hard to deal with.
Yeah, and that's on top of having to work out a solution to the Willa problem, which is really becoming quite difficult to find. Keen here towards his top side, just trying to put as much money together as he can. He has the smallest gold advantage, or gold deficit, I should say, apart from Duro. But the Jace was certainly doing well in the lane. Obviously had the very strange back-to-back solo kill situation, but he wasn't doing too bad. Now is suffering just a little bit, and we know that a Jace, if you're not able to hold on to a lead, really can feel like a paperweight later on in the game.
Definitely a pick that, if you fall behind, can just kind of offer... I mean, you're just all damage, right? So, not the most to offer. And I just feel like it's a pick that if you're behind, you feel so squishy, so vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
Especially playing against a fed Wukong who can kind of just ult you to death.
Well, Chovy picking up the cinders, as all of the good players do. 20 seconds on this soul point for KIWOOM DRX, and an opportunity for Gen.G to look for a 5v5. Keen, still up here towards his top side of the map, wants to go back and buy before they do attempt anything. We'll see whether he's close to completing his Manamune or not. As Ruler taking a fair bit of damage. There is that Manamune that I was talking about, but Ruler has to flash, so does Duro. And now Willa slowed down by that Arc of Judgment. Sees an assist, gets into the backline, is Keen. Executes Lazy Feel. Andil's in trouble as well as Chovy tries to find him, and he will. Keen will go down, but the perfect execution gets the Akali into the backline, and Yukal struggling to stay alive. They got the shutdown onto Willa, and Gen.G just roar to life.
We see KIWOOM DRX being the ones going aggressive, but when everyone has their summoners available, you can't pick off Ruler and Duro. They flash out, they disengage, and that leaves you so overextended. A great punish from Gen.G, and they're going to go straight for the Baron here. With the Baron recalls as well, they should be able to get back on the map and set up for this Dragon.
There is, I mean, I thought that Yukal and Rich were just going to go for the Dragon, try and lock that one down as a consolation prize, but let's have a look at this one more time.
So they go very aggressive, but the summoner's been available. The double flash gets Gen.G's bot lane to safety, albeit on low HP. And then Canyon kind of waits a bit with the ult for everyone to be in place to follow up. Lazyfield gets deleted, Andal's gone next, and then Chovy over the wall. Flash ult to finish off the Wukong.
And so Chovy gets the 1,000 gold.
Yeah, a big influx of gold, even before the Baron is taken. Some great target selection. It looks like actually, even with the Baron recalls, Gen.G not able to get back on the map soon enough. So it is the Dragon for KIWOOM DRX. They still do have a gold lead, which puts even more emphasis onto Gen.G and this Baron. And really capitalizing on it, because yes, you close the gold lead, and that gold is very valuable, but the permanent looming threat of the Infernal Soul is a thing, and if you don't get much from this Baron, you're going to feel really rough about that trade overall.
Well, now Gen.G looking to try and defend their inner turret. Shock Blast is going to be avoided here, majoritively, and that wave will be thinned out as well. KIWOOM DRX seemingly taking that last fight in stride, still have a slight gold advantage. We're able to get back and grab that dragon like you were talking about. The plan is still on, but the Realm Warp is now going to be utilized. Duro still without a flash, has to wild growth himself, but he just gets cold, and down he will go. Ruler looking for an angle here as well as Willa gets the flash Cyclone, and there is a dead Yunara. Willa possibly in trouble as Canyon finds the angle to get on in there. Season assist onto Lazyfield, who gets punched back as well. Still, the Akali will go down, and now Keen and Canyon, the last man standing. Rich goes golden, and it's a double for Yukal. As this Rise is so scary this game, and this time KIWOOM DRX will be able to answer.
I think we've seen so many teams where like you lose a big fight, you lose Baron, and they just become timid. Even if they still have the potential to make good plays, this is an example of a team not doing that. Going, hey, we're still strong, we still have this fed Wukong. Duro gets split off from Ruler and killed, and then Ruler just doesn't have that protection, so the Wukong can easily 100-0 Gen.G try and make a fight out of it, but they're starting 3v5. Even with those tools unavailable, even with the Wukong a bit chunked, it's so hard to fight through from this position. They don't have the sustained DPS, and this stasis from Rich, perfect here to buy some more time and bait out Keen's cooldown. So really well played by KIWOOM DRX. And now, even though the fight that Gen.G won was fantastic, the Baron, the decision to get Baron instead of the Dragon, well, you had a negative Baron power play, and KIWOOM DRX are one away from Soul. So it's put you in this uncomfortable position where you didn't get much from the Baron. You got one top lane tower, you've lost gold on the Baron power play, and you have to deal with the threat of this Infernal Soul coming up soon.
Yeah. Well, LazyField does have to deal with Shock Blasts and Slurkles, and so that is going to be a little bit of a problem. It does have Andal there to try and heal him up. There's the teleport in from Rich, looking for it. Oh, they're down! The hot corridor here is Rich is not quite able to follow up on a beautifully positioned Equalizer. And the health bars of Gen.G are looking a lot larger than they really have any right to be after that. Oh, very enthusiastic as Chovy goes in and gets the wild growth off, looks for the perfect execution, he'll get it! Somehow he stays alive for so long as now Ruler is free hitting! The rest of KRX are there and Rich keeps himself alive! And now it's just Duro and Ruler versus the world! That was such an aggressive engage! As Serpent's Fang from the grave is going to get purchased here by Keen, but another fight won for KIWOOM DRX, even if it looked a little narrow.
Only marginally. Honestly, Duro saving Chovy there, because if he gets exploded and just dies before he gets more damage off, this fight is a wash. But it's actually a massive factor here that Duro is able to keep Chovy alive a bit longer. We see this great equalizer value, but...
Oh, the Realm Warp went into a weird place.
But we see Chovy goes in here, and nearly just gets deleted when he goes in with the CC coming through, but Duro keeps him alive, ult and shield, slivers of HP just long enough to get the R2 down, and without that extra damage from Chovy, this fight would not have been this close. Like, other than the sliver of health on Rich that keeps him alive, that is the only thing that stopped it from being an even trade. And if Chovy had just immediately died, it would have been an absolute crushing victory for maybe even just an end.
Yeah.
Back of that. So Duro playing the hero role there, keeping his mid laner alive just long enough to make a play there. But gold lead hasn't really shifted. It's 50 seconds until that dragon. And I'm looking at some of the spikes on the side of KIWOOM DRX. Yukal is someone who has my focus right now. Actualizer has come in. He has the Seeker's Arm Guard as well. So it's kind of like the fake 4 items, where he has that active effect from the Zhonyas, but then just has this super powerful core. He also has like a 10-stack Dark Seal and Flash. He's like as strong as you can be on a rise right now. He is a major threat.
Yeah, and LazyField as well just hit the Infinity Edge. Pretty perfect as we are looking at 15 seconds until this Infernal Soul, and Canyon taking a bit of damage here, does get himself a shield as in goes Chovy. One more time, where did Andal go? As the Culling trying to do some work here, but Chovy's still looking for it, and he gets it with the fadeaway. Another wild growth to keep the Akali alive, as Rich tries to be the golden barbecue, but it doesn't quite work as Willa gets in there, but he's alone in this fight, although Yukal is now coming in to try and help out. He'll go golden as Canyon tries to get into position. Willa sneaking away, but they get the vision. The Warrior Trickster, but there is the speed up, and Ruler's gonna finish them off. Rich, the last man standing, and the Soul will be denied.
Just an insane engage there from Chovy, and LazyField gets ripped apart in this fight. Him going down the bot lane, dying early. And we actually see how the play starts off. So Chovy once again with the aggressive engage. They just delete Andal. And then here he's patient with the R2. The Shuriken, though, fade away. And then the Wild Growth again, just to get that extra bit of damage out. We see, though, there's still the huge threats of Yukal and Willa. Yukal, a massive problem, but unfortunately, we see the stasis come through, but Willa was actually blocking the dash from Canyon, so it ends up kind of wasted, unfortunately. It was a great read from Willa, but I think Yukal reacted, not expecting his Wukong to block it, and as a result, he can't get the damage off in that meantime. It was a very hard fight from that position, though. Losing your bot lane this quickly
Chovy
is such a tough hit to fight from.
And then able to skirt the outside of this fight. That was just job done. As now Chovy here in this bottom lane, 50% health, looking to try and fight against Rich, but it's a little bit of a tough ask. Equalizer comes down, Dash Cannon gets Chovy out of the way.
Okay, he can just disengage.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right. As Ruler having a fight with the Control Ward, while LazyField's having a fight with him. And Baron is up on the map once again.
You know, we see
Manic pings from KRX.
We see the Locket coming in from Duro, and honestly, I kind of love Locket on Enchanters because it makes you that bit bulkier, but the on-demand shield, especially when you're already building heal and shield power, that snap extra durability for your teammates goes a really long way.
Especially into this comp that has so much inherent AoE.
Oh yeah, you think how many of these fights, how many of Chovy's plays have come down to just slight slivers of HP, keeping him alive for, even not in general, but just long enough to get the damage down. Obviously in the last fight he did actually, was able to survive, but I think it's coming in pretty clutch here.
Certainly is. It's a pretty heroic performance from a player that's behind 2,000 gold.
Yeah, and down significantly in terms of levels thanks to that Rod of Ages. You know, a level 18 rise with these items is so scary, but last fight Chovy had more impact.
Oh dear, Andal in trouble yet again as cease and desist comes through from Canyon. The Equalizer doing a decent amount of work though, as now Ruler's on top of it. He is going to burn down. And even Andal stays alive. Now the Realm Warp to get them on top of Keen. He'll be taken out as Chovy was nowhere near the battle. He's going to try and sweep out some vision. That's going to be his answer as him and Duro, the last men left. And it looks like KRX are just going to look to break open the base.
Yeah, they might push for the end here. It's only the support and Chovy to survive for the next 25 seconds. There's a real threat that an end just comes through now.
Let's see whether they can actually push for it, as they might have an opportunity to try and pull the wave. There is no Baron or anything like that. These minions are pretty squishy as Chovy gonna need to get into that Shroud, but still we were talking about inherent AoE. There's a lot of it as he tries to get the ulti through and just dies. It's Andal that gets his revenge, and KIWOOM DRX are gonna make it interesting as they take down the Nexus and even out the series.
I think with how well that game was